Hello everyone, today I'm going to be breaking down some of ERD's references towards music and bands. Music is so connected with fashion as a whole, and ERD is no exception, as you will see through the pieces showcased in the video. You would think this video would just be ERD and their punk references, but Henri has pulled from a lot of other genres as well. Also, I just want to mention, I've definitely missed some stuff, as there's no way I could find every single musical reference, and they're going to make more references in the future, but this is the best I could do right now. Also, before we get into it, if you like this type of content, like reference videos or runway analysis, give my channel a sub, like the video, comment, do all that, it helps a lot. Anyways, let's get into the pieces. I'm going to start with some more cut and dry references before getting into the more juicier material, and with that said, there's no better place to begin than with this piece referencing the California punk band Black Flag. Black Flag is one of the most seminal punk bands, with them widely being considered one of the first hardcore punk bands, as well as pioneers of post-hardcore. This piece is just a clear rip of their logo with the words Rich Kids instead of Black Flag. Love it or hate it, this piece embodies the brand so well, with it being a punk reference with the words Rich Kids on it. Next, we got another punk band, that being Minor Threat, and their sheep logo that's used on this shirt. Here's another punk band, that being Germs, with a couple other tracks embroidered into this jacket. Also, I want to note that Henri has been seen wearing Germs merch multiple times. Next, we got a rip of this vintage Sick of It All shirt for the front and back graphic. This is another punk reference, with it being GBH's City Baby's Revenge, kind of re-illustrated on this shirt. You can also see the words 101 Ways to Kill a Rat written from the album on the back of the shirt. Now let's take a look at a more obscure one that I just found, that being Mortal Crux's The Side Effect of Thinking on the I Still Have Hope pieces. Mortal Crux is another punk band, but this record actually incorporates some elements of reggae, so I was pretty pleasantly surprised listening to it. I also want to note the print from this vintage shirt looks like the exact print that ERD used. I know the picture is super bad quality, but this is the only picture I could find of this shirt. Next, we got art from the punk band Minutemen from their What Makes a Man Start a Fire album, featured on this ring. The art is by Raymond Pettibon, who is one of the most impactful visual artists of the punk scene, with him doing a ton of stuff for Black Flag and also doing the album art for Sonic Youth's Goo. Next, we got this shirt with a graphic from a punk flyer featuring the Circle Jerks and Bad Religion. It's re-illustrated, of course, with those stick figure type things that ERD does a lot. I'm not sure if that's Henri's original art or he's pulling from something there, but let me know. Next, we got a rip from this Japanese Butthole Surfers shirt on the rabbit pieces. This next piece, the Be Careful What You Pray For shirt, actually has a plethora of references. First, it's a rip of this vintage shirt from a black gospel stage play of the same name. That said, the images and words are replaced with punk references, with this image of Johnny Thunders and the famous groupie Sable Star. The text is also from a Johnny Thunders song, with it being You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory. The bottom right is another punk reference, with it being Richard Hell holding a gun. Also, I wanted to point out that ERD actually got Richard Hell to walk in their most recent runway, so that's really cool. Next, we got a Public Image Ltd reference on this crew neck. Public Image Ltd is a post-punk band that was formed by Johnny Rotten, who is the lead singer of the Sex Pistols, who you're hopefully familiar with. Also, I want to note that the graphic on any of these pieces could be on other pieces as well. Like this pill logo could be on a shirt or hoodie. I'm just not going to mention every individual piece for the sake of brevity. Next, we got this iconic Lou Reed sweater, which obviously features Lou Reed, specifically from his album Transformer. Lou Reed was the head of the Velvet Underground, and his whole persona and neuroticism kind of fits perfectly in line with ERD's ethos. Next, we got this jacket that features the album art from New Order's album Republic. New Order was the band formed out of Joy Division after the death of their lead singer Ian Curtis. Their music's a lot different than the other stuff we've covered already, with it being more synth pop than anything. Also, on a personal side note, I absolutely love New Order, and this album's also really solid. Next, we got this shirt that features the cover of a box set from the Mighty Lemon Drops. They were a post-punk band, and this box set included 5 CDs with their works from 1985 to 1990. It's also seen on this vintage shirt, so it could have been taken from there as well. Next, we got the iconic Teenage Snuff Film shirt, which is a reference to Rowland S. Howard's album of the same name. Rowland S. Howard is an Australian post-punk artist who is most well known for his work with the group The Birthday Party. He's also in line with the ethos of subversion, with one of his albums being made in collaboration with Lydia Lunch, and that kind of connects him to that whole downtown New York scene that ERD references a ton. Next, we got the ERD Records hoodie referencing the album Underdog by the hardcore band Underdog. I also want to note that the way this whole thing is formatted looks like it's out of a zine, but I'm not sure where that is. That said, I was able to track down that little logo that's also seen on this hat, with it being a New Beginning Records. Next, we get art in a all-over print on the silk shirt from anarcho-punk band Rudimentary Penny's album Death Church. Next, we got art from the album Bad Childhood by the French punk rock band Vermins. This is featured on the Bad Childhood crewneck. Next, let's take a look at a really obscure one with this shirt featuring the cover art for Odium's How to Philosophize with a Hammer. I can't really find any info on this band and wasn't able to even listen to any of their stuff. All I could find was that on Discogs it says their genre is like industrial or electronic noise music. The title is actually a quote from Nietzsche's Twilight of the Idols, which definitely fits in line with the brand's ethos, with Nietzsche being referenced a couple times. Next, we got the Rolling Along with Enfants shirt, referencing the rock band Marbles. This next one is kind of in a different vein, with it being a German Nazi-issued Catholic songbook featured on the back of the Catholic toothbrush tee. In the same vein as the last one, this assemblage hoodie features a rip of a vintage Yale Russian chorus shirt. The Yale Russian chorus was an ensemble at Yale University which sang Slavic songs and acted as a sort of cultural exchange program between the US and Russia. Now let's take a look at a few references tied to Psychic TV and Genesis Peorage. As the front figure of Psychic TV, Genesis was a major innovator in the kind of radically experimental art and music that ERD is deeply drawn to. Before Psychic TV, Genesis founded Throbbing Gristle, which was one of the most influential industrial and experimental electronic bands. Both projects were known for their confrontational live performances and extreme transgressiveness. Beyond music, Genesis and Psychic TV were heavily involved in performance art, constantly pushing boundaries around identity, gender, and the body. The occult has also played a central role in Psychic TV's work, with ERD using their symbols repeatedly. This shirt specifically features artwork taken from the cover of one of Psychic TV's untitled cassettes, and this next shirt features the art from the front cover of one of their singles titled Snowflake. Moving on, we get the logo from this rock brand, the Bryan Jamestown Massacre, which appears on the sweater and a couple other pieces. This next one's a little different, with it being pointed out by one of ERD's co-founders, John Claude, where he said all the checkerboard pieces were inspired by the jackets in the music video for You Only Live Once by The Strokes. Next, let's look at the Hoyt Disco shirt, which features a part of a poster from the brand FSK promoting their box set. FSK was a German avant-garde band formed by the contributors to the underground German magazine called Fashion and Despair. Unfortunately, I don't know where the graphic itself comes from, and I literally bought a book about this magazine to try to find it, but it turned out to all just be words. Next, we have a series of pieces which were actually official collaborations with Daft Punk, which is pretty crazy considering it was in like 2017. I think it happened because there was a Daft Punk pop-up that was like in collaboration with Maxfield, and ERD has been working with Maxfield for like ever. First, we get this long sleeve, which features an image that can be found in the sleeve of their first album, Homework. This piece also has the track list from the same album, as well as the words Galaxy Express 999, which is an anime created by Leiji Matsumoto. This was probably included as Matsumoto was the same guy who created Interstellar 5555, which was an animated space opera made in collaboration with Daft Punk. You'll probably recognize it from the Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger music video. Next, we get the same image put on this leather jacket, along with the first track from Homework. This next one is a re-illustration of a photo from their first tour, and this last one is actually referencing something from before they even became Daft Punk, which was the band Darling. It's specifically from their demo Cindy So Loud. Also, the quote on the back is apparently from a Rolling Stones interview with them. Next, we got the Heaven Will Burn Your Eyes pieces, which feature art from the album Life During Wartime by thrash punk band Avastic. I absolutely love this graphic, and I actually checked out the record itself, and the mix of like thrash with punk is actually pretty cool. Next, we got this hoodie, which features art from the album The Seduction by Ludus. Ludus was a band started by Linder Sterling, who is known for her confrontational performance art, so she fits right in line with the ethos. Now finally, I'm going to be going over a couple pieces that could be reaches, like I'm not 100% sure that this is what they're referencing. First, we got this hat from the new season that could be referencing Lord Kill the Pain by the Red House Painters. Next, we got the Cry for Help shirt, which has a graphic that kind of looks like it's from the German industrial band KMFDM. Finally, we got the Dorothy Dunked pieces that could be inspired by the way Type O Negative formats their albums. The photo used is actually from The Sacrifice of Isaac by Caravaggio, which depicts the part in the Bible where God tests Abraham by asking him to sacrifice his son Isaac. Anyways, that's all the ones that I was able to find right now. I know I didn't go in a lot of detail or anything, but for some of the bands, like, what do you really want me to talk about? Like, I'm not going to tell you like the founding and history of all these bands, but definitely check them out if you're interested. Anyways, if you like the video, like it, comment, subscribe, do all that. Check out my Instagram right here. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Bye.